One. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of CTS Boxing. I'm your host, Jesse Sanchez, and today we have someone via Zoom out of Catskill, New York. Favia, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good, doing great. Thank you for asking. Um, I know that you met Mike Tyson. I've always wanted to meet Mike Tyson. Tell me what did it feel like when you met him? Did you get kind of nervous?
Yes, I would know it.
Were you able to talk or did you just stand? Did you just freeze?
Um, like he did come over and ask me how did I start boxing and like why this style, why this gym. So, but like for the most time that he was in the gym, I just got to see him like observing the walls.
Mhm. And we'll get to that. Last year, you only had a chance to fight one fight.
Last year, yes, just one fight, yeah.
What was it just because of COVID?
Um, no.
No? You wanted to fight more?
Yes.
That's how many fights do you want to do this year?
Well, I'm in a situation where like my former manager and my manager right now, they're trying to get a process of, I guess, working together, like co-managing.
Yeah, the business aspect of it.
Yes.
Does that get a little frustrated because you have no control, right? So it's more like, you got a job to do. Could that be a distraction sometimes?
Yes. It can be a distraction if I let it, um, like be one. But as of right now, I'm not even focused on the business. I'm letting my manager handle that. I just focus on training.
Perfect. Speaking of training, do you remember the first time when you stepped into the gym?
Yes, I do remember on my first day. If I were to flash back to that day, uh, I was very surprised how the workout was very easy. I thought it would be hard, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure right now why it seemed easy then. I was very active. I was an athlete, and I'm not sure if making that transition to boxing was easy because of that.
Your first professional fight, I saw your interview, and I remember when you were taking up while you're doing the interview, somebody interviewed you. You were taking off your gloves, right? And they asked what was the biggest difference. And what stuck out to me, and I thought was funny, was you said the first time I actually got hit, you actually felt that. What was that feeling like? Because you could tell that you were very happy. Do you remember that feeling?
Um, I don't remember it exactly, but I do know that the feeling of the punches, if because I did get hit clean in that fight, um, so it felt different. It felt harder. Like it felt like in a way I could feel the knuckles, but not really. But it's more like I can really feel my literally the bone of my skull is being hit.
Whenever you look at your opponent, is there a sort of intimidation? Could you tell if they're nervous, if your opponent's scared?
No, what would only get me thinking that is just the talk of the people around me saying that she doesn't want any part of me, but I would not see that in a person in front of me without the influence or the talk of like people outside of me.
Like, what would you say your style of boxing is?
I say my style of boxing would be I would be a basically a boxer puncher,
Right.
but in a different way where I'm using a lot of angle, like to the side, not really angles at a distance. Of course, I will apply that, but it's mostly like I'm angling towards the side of the person. That type of boxer puncher.
So technical, and you're cutting their corners where they won't be able to move. Corner.
Yeah.
And people call you Little Mike Tyson. Does it take a lot to live up to that name? When you prepare for a fight, do you learn a new skill or do you try to perfect what you got going on?
Yes. I'm we just perfecting. Like there's always like that little piece of nugget that I'm learning from my coaches that I can like make what I'm already doing better.
I want to go back to when you first started. What got you like in the sport?
What prompted my conversation with my grandfather was he found out that I got into a fight. Because of that, when he did find out, we talked about it, and then we entertained this whole idea of, learning the style that Mike fought, and then I did some research on it, and once we found a gym that was near us, then my sister took me to the gym.
What would you say for the young girl? What is something you would tell them?
Jesus, like for my own experience,
Uh-huh.
what is like for myself, I know that like for me as of right now, like ever since coming back in the gym, like I've learned that like if I were to give advice to someone, it would be to always just like do your best. Like you know when you do your best, like someone outside can say you did your best, but you know you did it. Like just give it everything you've got. Will and skill. Those are the two things. And like just that's what I'm working on, making sure that I give it everything I got, mentally and physically. Like I'm like right now I'm working on how fast can I get into that second gear, that third gear, that fourth gear. I'm always gonna need to like push myself. When I feel tired, I gotta say no and I'm gonna push back even like stronger. So that I would say that would be my advice.
Listen to yourself and motivate yourself because you know the truth. I like that's well said. That's well said. Outside of the ring, what do you like to do for fun to distract yourself when you're not in training camp?
Um I love sightseeing.
What is it like being in the gym that you're in and all the famous fighters that come out of that gym and all the history? Does it give you more motivation because of the history that's in that gym that you train out of?
Um, no, I don't really think about how Mike Tyson came out of this gym.
Was there a goal that you have this year?
Haven't really thought of the goal in the far future. Like right
Yeah.
now, I've been focused on like the daily training to help just give it everything I've got.
And that makes sense. You got to go short term because you're ready to get in that ring. Tell me about your family. Like, how did they feel whenever they knew you were going to turn professional? What was that feeling like? What did they say?
Um, well, really, I don't really remember how my parents felt about it. I know they're very weary. They really, um, they have that type of reaction where they get worried knowing that I'm a fighter, which also means there's a high possibility of you obviously getting hit. And I would say my parents, yes, they worry. Um, but as far as like my sister, she was all for it.
How long have you had your corner? Is that really important in the sport to trust your
Oh yeah,
corner?
yes. Having that trust. I've learned this through my experience how important it is to have people who you were actually with from the beginning, what I mean? Because you already built that like connection, that relationship, that trust.
Mhm.
So having those same type of people around in your corner at all times, I would say it's like brings peace of mind to me as a fighter.
Do you get in social media and talk to your fans, or if somebody reaches out to you, do you text them back or DM them back? Yeah.
Yeah.
What social media do you use and they can reach you, like your fans?
You can reach me at on my Instagram, Favia_official, Favia_official, and Facebook, Favia.